Ni wewe ulimwangusha.
Watu si wajinga, tunajua you people mnajifanyanga nyinyi askari na nyinyi si askari.
Si alijitambulisha?
Pingo na mdomo tu. Asipokuwa na uniform siwezi mtambua.
Akiwa bila uniform si polisi.
Kutoa pingo ni kujitambulisha.
Hakuwa amebeba, lakini wewe ni wa hiyo area. Wewe anajua hiyo mtu ni constable.
Am I a civilian?
Yes you are.
I'm a civilian.
Yes you are.
Am I pedestrian?
Good morning. Welcome to the program. It's today's 23rd.
Yes, it is the 23rd day of
23rd
July.
day of July. Don't say 23rd. Hello. Hello. Ati teacher tuliona Victor alisema 23rd.
Yes.
23rd day of July 2025. Good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Victor Olo. Karibu sana. It's a Wednesday and the week is right in the middle. And the good thing is we are also coming to the tail end of this cold month of July. Karibu sana. We have got plenty to talk about in this program. So you have to tune in. Vivian, good morning.
Good morning, Victor.
You are well?
I'm very well, thank you.
Energy level imeenda wapi?
Energy level iko juu.
You need coffee. You need coffee.
I wouldn't mind some coffee, but yeah.
You want coffee?
I don't mind.
That feedback.
Yeah. Yeah.
Victor ni wale wana mgeni anakuja anamuuliza utakula and I expect aseme hapana. Now I've said okay, he does not know what to say after that.
Otherwise, seriously, we are doing well. Okay, so today, Vivian and Mike,
Yes.
we all know how it's been in the country for quite some time.
Yeah.
And, you know, let's talk about something to do with the safety. And, you know, when it comes to life, it's a matter of time. All right?
Yeah.
So time is a very big determinant. 1 second you are walking, 1 second you're not.
Yeah.
But that can be salvaged if that several things are taken in consideration. One clear example is when we had, you know, the country faced, you know, the unthinkable protest in the month of June, July, or even sometimes, was it in May or that or something? And now today I want to talk about that aspect of emergency response. Again, let's just put it this way. The shoot on sight or shoot on the leg to maim is meant to apprehend or subdue a suspect.
Yeah.
But I all know that you know that it can be fatal, right?
Yes.
Of course it can be fatal because any gunshot can be fatal, be it on the finger, on the hand, on the leg. It can be fatal because of the bleeding. Excessive bleeding would cause death. So yes, I love that you're having the conversation on not life and death, but life and time. Because sometimes in some scenarios, it's only a matter of time. It depends on how quick you manage to salvage the situation. Otherwise, then it becomes deadly. Yeah.
Even as it becomes a form of what you'd call de-escalation, I think it can cause problems, especially when it comes to bleeding. And the earlier it's dealt with, the better. So I think this conversation is timely, especially for such a time as this.
But let's also talk about even safety, even back home, all right? Even scenes of accidents, where there is an accident and, people rushing to save the victims and all that. Well, I know there's some principles during first aid where when someone is completely injured or seriously injured, or someone is injured, not seriously, when someone is injured in an accident, there's a procedure on how to handle such a person. Either that person has got internal, injuries, so when you handle such a person in a particular way, you might cause more harm to the victim. So let's talk about that. Coming up, I have got Samuel Nyango. Master Samuel Nyango is Chairman, National Gun Owners Association and Safety Officer Instructor, as well as Anthony Gillo. Anthony Gillo is trainer at St. John's Ambulance. These are two gentlemen who have plenty of knowledge. So let's talk about safety today. Even at work here where we work. What happens when there is an inhalation, toxic gases, tear gas?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about that. Vivian.
Well, that's a very needed conversation.
Yeah.
No,
Mike.
was a tear gas.
I have never seen Mike run that fast. Just by the sound of a tear gas. I was not coming his way.
Yeah.
It was just one. Hey, Mike.
You never know your talents until it's very important.
Now, Vivian, let me tell you. We were just walking, and Mike was on phone. Hello, I don't know whether he was talking to his dad or something. I didn't see Mike. I didn't see Mike. So I'm calling him. Nasikia tu simu.
Amanda.
I didn't see this guy until after like 4 days. Mike, hello, what happened?
Hey, leave me alone.
He needed time to recover. 4 good days.
4 good days
to recover.
So I could just hear, Victor, where are you? I'll call you.
You know what? Vivian, what do you have today?
Yeah.
So anyway,
And it was very far away from us. I think that some buildings...
like the fumes didn't even get to you guys.
We didn't even see the person who fired that tear gas. But the sound of that, hey, Migwi.
Prevention is always better.
Leo nikufungua roho. Nimekwambia, I've never told you this, Vivian, right? I have never said this.
You'd rather run away and be called a coward.
I love it.
All right. Okay.
Than the things, taking a turn. Anyway, it's a very needed conversation, and for sure we will be tuned in for that. And also, Victor, you can bring about also the issue of drowning, because of late I think I've been seeing cases specifically of young children, as young as 2-year-olds, drowning and dying. So you can also get us into that, maybe the quickest way to help someone who probably was drowning.
Absolutely.
And aside from that, today being a Wednesday, it is Women at the Forefront. This is where we get to bring you women who are doing exemplary well in different fields or are doing something for their communities just to ensure that they empower the fellow woman. We just try and bring these women so that young ladies who are watching the show can be able to see role models and get to see women like themselves who are doing a good job. Today will be no different. I will be joined by one Louise Huxthasson. I hope I've not butchered her name. She is an associate expert in the Human Rights Division at UNESCO, and she'll be here to just tell us more about her story and get us through how she got to rise above the ranks and become the leader that she is today. You definitely want to stay tuned for that conversation. Mike, do you have a quote for us?
Oh, yes. In line, especially now that today is a Woman Crush Wednesday? Yes. I have a quote, and there's a quote for the day. Be the woman who fixes another woman's crown without telling the world it was crooked. Be the woman who fixes another woman's crown without telling the world it was crooked. Indeed, that is very profound.
Absolutely.
When it comes to lifting each other for you ladies as women. Away from that, let's look at matters. Land being that it's an emotive issue, especially within the country. We want to look at alternative dispute resolution mechanism, that is mediation and arbitration. What role do they play in Kenya, especially when it comes to the land sector within the country? So I'll be joined by Eric Nyandimo, who is the president of the Institute of Surveyors of Kenya. That conversation will be coming to you right here on Good Morning Kenya. Remember, you can be part of every conversation happening here. We are at KBC Channel 1 on all our social media platform. When time comes, our phone lines will be open and we shall inform you accordingly. Welcome to the program. Victor.
Yep. All right, so we are setting up and my guests are already in studio. We'll be heading to that discussion briefly, but right about now, how about you take a look at the front page of the local dailies? Yes. UDA bigwigs plot exodus. That is what I have on the front page of the Daily Nation. Very quickly, UDA bigwigs plot exodus. That's according to 2027 polls, political polls. Realignment rock the ruling party. Already under siege from a rebel faction allied to ousted deputy president Rigathi Gachagua. The woes of the governing United Democratic Alliance are set to worsen, with top former loyalists, including the Senate Majority Whip, joining the rebellion. The man tasked with whipping members to toe the line has declared the party dead. So the man in question here is the bullfighter, Boni Khalwale, who is the Senate Majority Whip, who says that the party is dead. And many of them actually put on the front page of the Daily Nation. I have got Gloria Robo, who is ousted senator, Mohamed Ali, Nyali MP, Joash Nyamogo, who is North Mugirango Member of Parliament, Jane Kihara, Naivasha MP, and Ndindi Nyoro, representing Kiharu constituency. And of course, these just but a few who've been put there on the front page. Free at last. The gentleman here is Stephen Munyaho, on death row in Saudi Arabia for over a decade, now dragging a date with the executioner every day. The nightmare for Stephen Munyaho finally ended yesterday when he was freed after dramatic negotiations with the family of a Yemeni citizen whose death following a feud led to his conviction. It took 150 million blood money for his life to be spared. And his mom played a very key role, including Kenyans. I think Kenyans did a good job, as well as other organizations, including World Muslim Organization, also played a very crucial role, as well as the government also negotiated for his release. So they're just waiting for the necessary paperwork for him to come back home. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, cancer patients, 4-month vigil, the daily journey from Nyeri to Beg for Life. That's what's here on the front page, inner pages. And then the story of the mother saved from the death row, a mother's joy as son freed from Saudi prison. You can take a look at that story and how it unfolded, how many people contributed, and now he's waiting to come back home. 7 protesters slapped with new terrorism-related charges, including Manyata MP John Mukunji, who is accused the state of using the Prevention of Terrorism Act to silence the dissent. Lagat, I took leave, I did not resign. That's on the front inner pages. He says that temporary absence was to allow IPOA to conduct investigations. He did not resign. All right, very quickly, Raila, I did not benefit from handshake, quote-unquote, handshake deal. Contrary to the perception that he struck a backroom deal, Raila claims that the partnership was solely about pursuing national reforms. And finally, Ruto allies plot UDA exit ahead of 2027 polls. Many leaders in Mount Kenya have gravitated towards Gachagua, while others are now trooping to former Interior CS Fred Matiang'i. Kindly, if you want to read more, go and grab a copy of the Daily Nation. Vivian.
I have a copy of the Star with me, and on the front page it reads, EACC targets governor wife in a 728 million fresh investigation. That is the main story on the front page. We also have mom rolls in joy after son escapes death row in Saudi Arabia. That's the story of the young man that Victor has just mentioned, the man who was supposed to be executed in Saudi Arabia and had spent 13 years in prison, but now he is out. There's also another story on, this is a very sad one actually, women abused, slapped while giving birth, and that is a report that reveals that, and it is on the second page of the Star. We also have MPs summon Treasury PS over e-citizen gaps. Another story that has been highlighted is Oscar Agiso, a 26-year-old, defies the odds by graduating after last year's KU bus crash. That is what has been highlighted on the front page of the Star. We also have Mwangi, tear gas canisters, just protest memorabilia, and he maintains the arrest was politically motivated and intended to instill fear in activists. So activist Boniface Mwangi has said that tear gas canisters and spent cartridges seized from his office by police officers were collected during the protest to aid in investigation into police brutality and not as weapons or evidence of wrongdoing. We just, a last story here before I hand it over to Mike. CS Kabogo dismisses claims Ruto targeting Mount Kenya professionals. That those are some of the stories that have been highlighted on the Star, so you can get yourself a copy of the Star to get to read more on, into those stories. Mike?
Indeed. The big con, this is what is captured on the front page of the Standard newspaper. Deputy Inspector General of Police Eliud Lagat lied to the country about his stepping aside to pave the way for investigations into the death of Albert Ojwang at Central Police Station. In a June 16 statement, Lagat announced he had opted to step aside to allow investigations to proceed unhindered. But fresh court filings reveal a different story, that he merely applied for an 18-day annual leave approved the same day by Police IG Douglas Kanja, who wished him a restful break. In a sworn reply, Lagat now insists he never vacated office nor appointed a replacement, contradicting his own public statement. The open lie has reignited questions about his integrity, transparency, and truthfulness as a civil servant. That story is told in detail on page 4 of the Standard newspaper. Masai Mara listed, quote-unquote, extraordinary global records for annual spectacle. Reserve listed in World Records book as world's greatest annual terrestrial wildlife migration. Every year between July and October, over 1.5 million wild beasts cross to Mara from Serengeti. Read that story on page 3 of the Standard newspaper. Parliament summons PS Kipto over e-citizen irregularities. Read that story still on page 3 of the Standard newspaper. And also, Ruto's blame game on protests and alleged sponsors of violence. President accuses parents of not bringing up their children properly. He says the youth engaging in protests need guidance. That is what is captured on the Standard newspaper. Get your copy of your favorite newspaper to read what is captured there. Victor?
All right, thank you. So you can get your favorite paper and take a look at more stories. Okay, fine. So based on what we're going to discuss next, how about you take a look at this story leading to our discussion. Up next, shooting range.
Yes.
Now, in the recent past, according to the government, 25 people died because of gunshot-related injuries in the recent demonstrations in Kenya. And that has caused a lot of pain and devastation amongst families and even people who've lost their loved ones. So today, I'm here at Kirigiti Shooting Range in Kiambu County. I want to talk to one gentleman. He's called Sammy Onyango. Sammy Onyango is the chairperson of the National Gun Owners Association, otherwise known as GAO. I want us to take a look at some of the precautions that we or members of the public should take in a situation where if one is shot or in a situation of protest, what are some of the first aid that one should take care in such kind of a scenario. So I want to get into the shooting range and have a chat with Sammy, but I want to warn you that this place is a shooting range and you might at some point hear some of the blasts. Those are live fires being, people are training here. So just want to warn you that if you hear of any gunshot, just remember there is nothing, there's no cause for alarm. It's just but a training because this is a shooting range. Right about now, let's get in and talk to Sammy.
Don't expose any part of your body. So, safety. Very good. Okay. I normally prefer these gloves 100% because these ones at times can allow the small chippings to go.
We have to work on the proficiency of licensed firearm holders. Whoever holds a firearm must be able to use it proficiently well. Their skill level must be at a level that when they're shooting and operating their firearms within the crowded areas or within a training environment, it must be safe. So at National Gun Owners Association, our main core principle is to ensure that we do progress safety with firearms.
Take cover. Front. Stop!
Direction of the muzzle.
Yeah, of the muzzle.
So I'm able to engage the first target and get sure that I get out of that area, because my work is not to be there to fight them, but my work is to get away from the threat. So I will be able to engage the first threat and move away from that threat and go and take the best position of cover, which is behind the tire or the strongest part of the vehicle, that if in case they're engaging me, their bullet will not be able to penetrate through and come and hit me. Then I'm able to pie. By slicing the pie means taking the first threat that I see as the cover is still protecting me from any other threat that is out there. I'll take out the first threat, take out the second threat by being sure that I'm accurate to my target. Then where I'm hearing gunshots coming from the front, I will still move to the front, make sure I take cover and engage those threats. When there is a lull or there's a good silence and I'm hearing there's no more gunshots and my area is clear, I'll call for help. Definitely call the police, call everybody else that I can call, reach out to everybody else and make sure that they come along and I'm safe and clear. Without that, I will maintain my position of cover and make sure that I've got my items and my firearm ready. I want to try and demonstrate a little bit of safety protocols.
Most of the people who died because of stray bullets, what would cause that?
I wouldn't want to be a judge to say here that I can tell what happened in a scenario that I was not present. But what I can hypothetically say or state is that a firearm or a bullet travels in very many ways. It depends if the trajectory of that or the trajectory of the bullet. If the muzzle of that particular firearm holder, or the firearm that was being held by this particular person who fired the round, if he held his firearm at a 45 degree and the bullet travels up in the air and finds anything on its way, then it's going to cause damage. It doesn't mean necessarily that bullet was pointed towards that particular person. Spill out, so we have to make sure that 100% protection is taken care of. Remember, everything that we do is safety, 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 safety. But ukienda tu stop na unafinya green. Cardinal rules to the firearm holders is number one, always treat all firearms as if they are loaded at all times. Always treat your firearms as if they are loaded at all times. In other words, treat your firearm as if it is loaded. If you've unloaded it, if the slide is forward, never make sure that that barrel of yours doesn't point at anything you don't intend to destroy. Always put your finger off the trigger at all times until you're sure of your target and you're sure of your target and you're convinced that that is the target that you want to eliminate. Then you can now engage your trigger on the target and then you can pull it. Okay, we are moving fast now, so we'll be just rolling and rolling and rolling. Always know your target, what is in front of your target and what is beyond your target. Because remember, our human bodies are soft tissues. And you can hit me if you intend to shoot me, but if there's somebody innocent behind, the bullet can travel through and go and hit the person that is behind.
Mimi ni Salim Mvurya, waziri wa masuala ya vijana, uchumi bunifu na michezo. CHAN imewasili Kenya. Na waomba Wakenya wote tuweze kujitokeza kwa wingi, tuweze kushabikia timu yetu ya Harambee Stars. Tiketi tunaweza kulipa shilingi 200, 500 na 1000. Na CHAN iko KBC Channel 1 na KBC Radio Taifa. Tukutane Kasarani. Kenya ni nchi yetu, Harambee Stars ni timu yetu, na sisi ni wazalendo wa Kenya.
Greetings in the name of the Most High, Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice, we
have to do it twice.
They say the earth without art would just be, get it? We circumnavigate the globe and traverse the local scene to bring you art and culture at their very best. From fine art, culinary art, performing arts, and even cultural events, you name it, and we have got you covered. My name is Kevin Kasioki, and I will be serving you this and much, much more each and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
My name is Salim Mvurya, the Cabinet Secretary, Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, Republic of Kenya. Dear Kenyans, we are ready to host CHAN 2024 tournament. Let us show the world our patriotism, our passion for football, and our warm hospitality. This is not just a tournament, it is a celebration of our nation's pride. Join us in Nairobi as we welcome the continent and the world to experience the thrill of CHAN 2024. It is our time to shine. Let us make CHAN 20 tag just a study.
Very well, welcome back to the program. Now let's get into the discussion. Let's talk about between life and time, safety in all the public places. Public spaces would mean even in your vehicle, at home, at school, even a place of work like this one, or even in the market, in a stadium, in the streets. A public space, safety is something quite important. Emergency and disaster response. I want us to take a look at what are some of the precautions that we need to take as a country or even as an individual when we are faced with such kind of deadly scenarios. I'm joined by Master Samuel Nyango, who is the chairman of the National Gun Owners Association and is also a safety officer instructor at Ngao. Sami, good morning and welcome to Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you very much, Victor.
Karibu sana once again.
Asante sana.
It's been a while, right?
Yeah, we are happy to be here and we are glad that you've hosted us here as the National Gun Owners Association.
Yes.
We hope that today will be a good morning for us to be able to interact with the country and to also be able to speak.
Karibu.
Matters.
Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
Anthony Gillo is a trainer at St. John Ambulance. He's a man with many hats. He trains many people. Anthony, good to see you.
Asante sana. Thank you.
Sana.
Thank you.
How
Thank you very much. St. John is good. We're always there for the service of mankind to be able to respond to emergencies. And also at the same time, when everything is down during the week, we also do trainings to be able to ensure that the public gets trained, the corporates, they get their skills updated. Yeah, so that is basically what we do. And
Yes.
of course, we have our guys who are always on backup, 24 hours a day, 367 days a year. You call, we are there.
No sleep.
Yes, no sleep.
I think it's St. John's and another that I don't want to mention that you've been in operation for far too long. How many years of operation right now?
In Kenya, we have been here since 1923.
Sammy, where
to
were you in
date.
1923?
I think that time plans were still being made.
You have a very good idea somewhere. Okay, 1923.
1923.
Yes.
So when St. John started, it started in the Kenya Police Service. And then now from there, because it was an organized formation, then it moved to the Kenya Railways. And then now from there, it now moved to us, who are volunteers, who are not in the police service. But at the same time, we are a paramilitary organization. That is why you may see that volunteers, they have uniforms. They don't own like the police service. So that one is a volunteer wing. And then now we have the secretariat, who have now the people that are working in the ambulance services, the paramedics who on call 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then we have now the other part of the secretariat that now deals with the training and just to be able now to co-opt and coordinate also now the members in the event there are any emergencies. So that is basically how St. John is structured.
Great.
Yes.
What about Ngao?
Now, Kenya. Yes. Now, the National Gun Owners Association, we are an outfit of civilians.
Yes.
Who government has entrusted to be able to possess their own licensed firearms. And we are a group of professionals and any other Kenyan who has found it fit to seek this kind of authority from government and for them to be allowed to own firearms. We are just not a group of firearm holders, but we are also part of the society that really helps in many other ways. We do come together to try and build and associate ourselves with many of the needs that the country has. There are many things that we do as a group of people which are not in the forefront. We do assist many of the children homes. We also come together when there are disasters in the country. As many of you realize that during the Dusit attack, during the Westgate attack, whenever there was a terror attack, you hear that 1, 2, 3 of us were somewhere within the vicinity.
Yes.
Because we are all over, we're spread across the whole country. Not only those ones that you hear about, but whenever there are car accidents, whenever there are operations that are happening within the country, 1 or 2, 3 of us will always be there. And you find us that we don't wait for the whistle for us to be able to proceed or move in to assist. We instinctively move into it because that is part of our training. We secondly looked at it and found that it was very necessary, this was in 2014, that we find that licensed firearm holders within the country needed to come together so that we stop the perception that these are just a group of very rich people or people who hold their firearms just as cowboys or who recklessly do operate to use their firearms. So we, after developing the association and us being able to come together as a group, until to date, we've never had any of our members who has been accused or found guilty or who has misused their firearms, because we do promote proficiency within firearm environment.
Okay.
Yes.
Very well. So now that we've gotten the background...
Oh, sorry, also during COVID. Sorry about this. This is something very important. I think my members will not let me go free if I don't mention this. During COVID, we were trained, I think more than 100 of us were trained by the Ministry of Health as trainers of trainers, and we went around the whole country ensuring that our police officers who are out 24 hours helping and assisting to control traffic and to control the curfew during that time. Was it the curfew or during that period? And you see they were all exposed. And you remember police officers also our brothers and sisters, they're also our family members and all that. And we had to make sure that they're safe. So we came together, brought in resources from our members, and we went to the 47 counties that we have in this country, ensuring that each and every police officer had some training. Because we couldn't reach them person to person, we had to train some of the police officers so they can go ahead and train other police officers. So you always find us in the forefront trying to make sure that we do assist and help one person or the other.
Great.
Yes.
Okay. So now that we've gotten the background of two organizations, I want us to take a look at what's happening in the country. The country, we've witnessed several episodes of fracas and protests here and there, but let's come back here and start with you, Anthony.
Yes.
You know, you are mostly on the front line, and anytime there is a clear and classic example during the recent protests, you'll either see St. John Ambulance and other health service providers in the streets helping people who are injured in one way or another. Just explain to me the extent of, how do I put it, the extent of the whole scenario, how it looks like when you're in the front line assisting people, and what drives you as St. John's Ambulance to say, this one requires first aid and this one requires to be taken to the hospital, and this one requires, do you say on-site treatment and you release that person to go? What informs that?
Okay. When it comes to, we call them casualties.
Yes.
We usually have casualties and we have patients, okay? Now, casualties, they're people that are injured or they are sick, okay? But they have not gotten medical treatment or they have not gotten to hospital or a pre-hospital setting, okay? Now, the public that we train, the members, the corporates that we do train, we train them to be able to respond to handle any first aid related incidences, okay? When I'm talking about injuries, talking about burns, we're talking about fractures, we're talking about bleeding, basically trauma, okay? Including simple things like nose bleeding, fainting. When talking about sicknesses, we may have also now conditions like diabetes, we have seizures. So we train them to be able now to handle such incidences, okay? And for the minor incidences, the casualty now can be discharged to proceed on with their activities, provided they have recovered, okay? Now, for the major cases, now let's say like a condition like diabetes, if the casualty does not get to improve, then it means that they may need to be reviewed, okay? So paramedics who are on site can be able now to handle such cases. And if the patient is able to be stabilized, they can be released. But if the condition now needs to be referred to a medical facility, then we can be able now to refer the patient to a medical facility. When it comes to casualty management, we usually have things that we call the priorities of life. The priorities of life is the airway, breathing, circulation, okay? So if any of it is affected, then it means that the casualty's life is at risk, including your own, okay? When I'm talking about the airway, we're talking about where air gets into your body, through your nose, through your mouth, through your lungs. So if any of that is affected, then it means that you can be at risk, okay? Whereby you may be strangulated, you may be choking, okay? When I'm talking about breathing issues, we are talking about things like asthma, we are talking about choking, we are talking about what we call anaphylaxis. Anaphylaxis is basically an allergy-related condition whereby you ingest something and simply your body rejects, okay? In other words, it refuses. So you get an overwhelming, massive allergic reaction, which can be fatal. And even a person can die in under 10 minutes. Things that can cause the anaphylaxis is something as simple as peanuts, okay? There are people who, once they take peanuts, it reacts badly with them. Seafood, it can react with them, including bee stings, okay? That's why they usually say 1 man's meat is another man's poison. So I think that one is the best definition of the anaphylaxis. When I'm talking about something like circulation, now, I've mentioned about the ABC, airway, breathing, circulation. Here we're talking about things like bleeding, okay? And especially when we've been having protests, you find that most of the people get to bleed because of traumatic injuries. Either they could have gotten gunshot wounds. When you're talking about road traffic accidents, you may find that people have bleeding either due to amputations. You can recall also in the recent past whereby there was that police officer, unfortunately, whose hands got blown off as a result of the tear gas canister. So that one is complete amputation for both arms, okay? So if we do not control bleeding, then it means that the person can bleed to death. When it is yourself, to have a proper circulation, it means you must have the right amount of blood. The right amount of blood, basically, we usually say that for a normal adult, you have about 5 to 6 liters of blood. You lose half the blood volume, your heart will stop because it will not be
3 liters and you're...
Yes, you're gone. Because it means that now the heart cannot be able to pump blood to your vital body organs. Vital body organs, we're talking about your brain, you're talking about your heart, your lungs. So you must have the right amount of blood for you to be able to function.
Okay. I'll come back to that because that forms part of our discussion. But let me come back to Sammy. Sammy, how deadly is a gunshot wound? Either on the finger, the ear, any part of your body. I don't want to mention leg or whichever. How deadly is one single bullet that is either lodged in your body or has an exit? Or once it is shot, before St. John ambulance arrives to take care of that, how deadly can that be? So that I want us to demystify the whole of this for the members of the public to just to be keen on that. Sam is, is like a muganga. He's like a muganga, very good, putting his... There we go.
Thank you. About a bullet. People actually do at times not understand what a bullet is. The best example I got was actually, it's not a bullet, but it's a coffee cup. But simulates a bullet. So I found it to be...
Oh, this is a thermos.
Yeah, it is actually the best example that I would be able to come with. Okay. So when you talk about a bullet, actually this is what is a bullet. The whole of this, in what you normally see, is known as a cartridge in civilian terms or a round in military terms. But this is what is known as a bullet.
Yes.
So if you're talking about how severe this can be, the purpose of a bullet, bullets don't cause any magic. They simply penetrate and cause a hole. It's a hole that they do provide in your body. So when this bullet travels, and everything about a bullet starts, it's all about ballistics. The internal ballistics is what happens with the bullet when it is within the person who's controlling it. That's when it's inside the firearm. That is all about internal ballistics. Exterior ballistics is what happens when this bullet is traveling on its path towards the target that you have actually sent it to, from the internal to the exterior ballistics. It will travel towards its target. Now, when it gets to its target, that now is called internal. That is now terminal ballistics. Now, the terminal ballistics is what happens to this bullet, what the bullet does to you, what it does to your tissues. That is going to explain much better. When it gets there, it actually stretches all your tissues through violently because of the pressure and the speed and the force that it comes with. It comes with tonnage of force from where it comes from, where it travels from the firearm straight to your body. So it stretches all your tissues as it goes through. And that is temporary stretch, that is temporary cavity that it provides. Then there is permanent structure that it causes inside. So the organs that it finds inside, it will destroy. Now that is what he was talking about when he says, now you're going to start losing blood, and they think it's just under 3 minutes. When you lose blood under 3 minutes, your life is definitely not going to be there anymore. And we have to stop it. So even if it hits your hand, if it hits you here, and you're going to bleed profusely out of that particular position, if the particular veins that are traveling there have been fractured and they're bleeding, if you lose blood, 3 minutes, you're done. Heavy loss of blood continuously for 3 minutes. So wherever the bullet hits, as you've asked, if it hits your chest, if it hits your one leg, if it hits your fingers, it's going to be a problem. So at the end of the day, where the bullet travels, it hits your body, once you start bleeding, that is a problem.
There is a clear example of that gentleman who was shot somewhere in Central. Can't remember whether it was Embo Meru. It's alleged that he was shot on the leg, and he died out of that. What could have caused that? Because somebody would assume that when you're only supposed to be shot on the upper torso for it to be deadly or whatever. But what would cause that? Anthony, as we wait for Sammy, what would cause that? Because nobody would imagine that you're shot on the leg and you're dead.
We usually say that your normal human body, it cannot tolerate about 20% of fluid loss, okay? If you lose a liter, then it becomes a problem, okay? That is why during a normal blood drive, you can be able to donate 500 ml, you're functional, you're given a bottle of soda, then a half loaf of bread, then you go your way, and then the person spreads the good news that when you go to that tent, You donate blood, you're given a soda. And that is how, yes, and namkatenusu. And that has always been the motivation, so people go and donate. So if you lose 1 liter of blood, there are many changes that can happen in the body, okay? So this person begins now to have a rapid heartbeat. They begin to breathe faster. The more you continue to lose blood, other changes begin to set in. This person begins to feel dizzy. They begin to become nauseated. I can take a good example, the incident that happened at Narok, Suswa. You can recall that police officer, unfortunately, was attacked. His hand was chopped off. If you can be able to recall that video, you can recall there's a time he was trying to stand up and he was falling down, okay? So the person begins to feel dizzy. We do not control the bleeding. The casualty now begins to feel thirsty. You've seen road traffic accident victims. They've lost a lot of blood. The person says, nipe maji, nataka maji ya kunywa. It means that this person has lost a lot of blood, okay? So those ones are the problems when a person loses blood. Now, the example that you have given. When a person, we see that they have died as a result of an injury, it means that they bled a lot and nothing was done to control the bleeding. We do not control the bleeding, then we will lose the casualty. A bleeding to an injury to the leg, if we do not control it, it can kill someone, okay? Because this person will bleed and bleed and bleed. But if we are able to control the bleeding, then the person can be able to survive. We usually say that also, if you're having a traumatic injury, let's say a penetrating wound, okay? So for gunshot wounds, we will call them penetrating injuries. It is dependent also with the speed of the projectile, okay? If it is moving less than 200 feet per second, then the injury may not be that significant. But if it is moving now over 2,000 feet per second, okay, depends now, I think he's the expert there, then it can cause significant injury. Pelvic injury, the person can lose about 1,000 to 1,500 to 3,000 milliliters of blood. An injury to a long bone, that is the femur, okay? The person can lose about 1,500 liters of blood. And also it depends also now, injury to the ulna, to the radius, which is this part of the arm. If you're short here, you can probably lose about 150 to 250 mLs, but you do not control the bleeding, the person will continue to bleed. And unfortunately, the life, like I said, the life of the person is at risk.
So it's between life and time.
Exactly.
Sammy, Victor,
go ahead.
Just to add on to what Anthony is saying, you see, the problem we are facing as a country today is that there's a little bit, I think, and Anthony needs to maybe just let us know. I don't know how well maybe St. John and, if I remember well, during my young days, it was St. John and Red Cross are the ones we knew as the two first responders. But everywhere you went, you just knew St. John's ambulance and Red Cross ambulance. And today you'd find that the public is truly not very much educated towards matters relating to how to stop bleeding or anything to do with emergencies. And this is where the issue comes in. Many border borders that have come across today, you find them saying, hey, you know, we lost, we're going through the Nice burial, what happened? There was an accident, there was an accident, there was an accident. But the argument is they don't want to remove the victim from the accident scene until maybe the traffic officer gets to site or because they are hoping there's going to be some compensation or something of the sort. But when they are putting this person on the ground, they're leaving the person on the ground, they don't even want to treat or stop the bleeding because they want the bleeding to be seen that the guy really got injured so that it can make the case look big.
But I think now it's a bit of a delicate balance because now, again, Anthony, you'll also tell us here. In an accident scene, tafadhali usiguze, because probably he has got a lot of injuries, probably broken ribs and all that can prick. I've been in such a situation before. But then now, so where is the balance then? Do you help or do you just leave that person for first responders like you people to arrive? Or what do we do?
We usually say that time is tissue, okay? Your brain, if it is starved of oxygen 4 to 6 minutes, the brain cells begin to die. And once it is dead, it is irreversible, okay? A road traffic accident whereby people are injured, even when you call the number 999 to call for police for assistance, they will ask you 2 questions. Is there a person who is injured? Or are there any fatalities, okay? So that also now they can be able now to prioritize.
Okay.
If there are people who are injured, they will advise you, take them to hospital. The police officers will come to the scene.
Okay.
They will come, do their things, take their evidence, and then afterwards, a police officer can always go to the medical facility where the person is and take their details.
So, okay, so let me get it right.
Yes.
There's an accident. As a first responder, either mtu wa boda or a private vehicle owner, you can take person to the hospital first.
Yes, take them to hospital, they get
taken
assistance.
care of.
Yes.
Okay.
Because if it is vehicles which are damaged, the vehicles will be there.
Right.
They will remain on scene. They can be cleared later on. But the most important thing is to save the life of the person who is injured.
Thank you. Sami, how dangerous is this? Because when, you know, people made, you know, Kenyans, we make fun out of everything. Even a song and a meme, one leg and everything else, so just after that. But how dangerous, okay, these are dummy ammunitions. Get it right. How dangerous is this?
Ammunition, the main purpose of an ammunition is to destroy. I think that is as blunt as I can put it. It's not made there for any other purpose, but the purpose for it is to destroy. There are less lethal ammunition that are used for stopping a threat. And the stopping a threat is not to eliminate a threat. You can stop a threat, not to eliminate it. You can discourage it from it not going on to become a threat or to escalate its threat levels. But the main purpose of a live ammunition, its purpose is to destroy. I don't want to use the word kill, but I will tell you the main purpose for a live bullet is for it to destroy. Why? Because it is not shot at anything else apart from the intended target. And I think the levels of escalation, as you hear people maybe saying at times that, why would I shoot that person on the leg? Why would I shoot that person on the arm? Or it is a strategic move that you would take. Because in a hostage scenario, where you have somebody who was taken hostage or somebody who's rushing at you and this person is carrying a machete, this person could be mentally ill. This person could be maybe running berserk out of something else that you're not understanding. This person is not a direct threat to you, does not know you. It's not somebody who has been sent to you. It's not somebody who you think you've done something and is coming to take your life. But you found him in a supermarket or a mall where he's gone berserk and is running amok here and is holding a fire or is holding a machete or is holding a blade, which some people would assume that a blade is less lethal than a firearm. I would tell you at times they're at equal par, because it can equally, once it gets into your body, the kind of injury you'll get from a blade, you'll equally bleed the same way you'll bleed from a bullet. So for you to be able to stop that threat at that particular moment, if my training level, my skill level is good enough, and that's what you'll find with most of our National Gun Owners Association, 90% of our members, we really insist on them to have proficiency training and to keep on training. So whenever they're in a mall or they're sitting in a supermarket and is having his coffee, and he comes across something like that, he will not sit back and wait. He will be a fast responder. And what will he do? He will stop that threat. Now, stopping that threat, the first thing he does, he finds an area where it is much less likely to cause death, instant death, and he will be able to now shoot maybe at the leg or maybe shoot at the shoulder and shoot some other position that he can be able now to stop that person from approaching. Equally, the way you would be in a restaurant and somebody just starts running from that direction and he comes charging towards you and he's holding a machete. What would I do if I'm a licensed firearm holder? To me, that was a direct signal that is imminent threat to my life. So what am I supposed to do? I would not actually destroy that person because I don't know why he's attacking me, but I will change the trajectory of the bullet by taking a different position of my shot, maybe going to my knee, maybe going prone position, and I will take my shot. And if I take my shot, I will stop that person. If he keeps on proceeding towards me, then I will take another shot. Now, this is all calculated. And you must be able to be trained to a position where you can do this. Why? Because you're holding a licensed firearm with you on a daily basis.
I want us to take a break and we'll come back. We want us to talk more about inhalation, for example, when it's come to toxic gases, for example, the tear gas and the water kind of the pink and green water. You can talk about that. And even the level of provocation, Sami. We've seen people saying, shoot me on the face. And we always see, for example, law enforcement officers, they're always very calm at that. Even if you come to their faces, they're always very calm. But the level of provocation and why, as members of the public, we should not do that. in whichever circumstance. So let's take a break. And we are going to the other side of the studio. I want us to demonstrate more. Today is all about safety, 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 either at home, at school, in public spaces, even here at work. Stay with us, Sammy and Anthony with me.
Wakenya wenzangu, this August, something big is happening. Chan 2024 is here and Harambee Stars are ready to shine. Let us come together and support our boys as they fight for glory. Tune in to KBC Channel 1 and let's cheer our boys. Because when Harambee Stars win, Kenya wins. Twende kazi, Team Kenya all the way.
Kwanza saizi ndio unampa motisha ya kupigana na wewe kabisa.
I've met a lot of men like Mark who just bark and can never bite.
Said leave. I want to be alone.
You tumia chakula.
Kufanya nini? Sikuelewi.
Na si umesema dad ni kama amerogwa na kama you tumia chakula.
Would you like somebody who killed your own mother? Fiona, who told you that?
Kama uko tayari, wakati utakuwa tayari, utanitafuta na mimi nitakupa majibu ya kila swali unalo.
Liwa mtoto wetu Joyce ndio wachiwe hii nyumba. Wewe angalia uone.
The world of governance is vast and can be alien to the ordinary man on the street.
Critical issues are going to be discussed.
From white papers to policy positions, it is easier to get lost in the labyrinth of words.
Inside Government takes you to key global metropolis where critical decisions are made and where policies are crafted.
We interview policymakers and senior government officials to highlight and enumerate government policies and projects. We take a deep dive into the underbelly of complex red tape to demystify policies across the country, across the world. Join me, O'Brien Kimani, on Inside Government, only on KBC Channel 1.
Je, ndugu Muislamu, unafahamu kwamba Nabii Ibrahim alayhi salam alinusurika kifo kwa moto kwa amri ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
Ibrahim alayhi salam alifungwa miguu na mikono kwa pamoja na kuwekwa kwenye moto mkubwa sana. Allah aliamuru moto ule uwe baridi na salama kwa Ibrahim alayhi salam, na hivyo ndivyo ilivyokuwa. Nabii Ibrahim aliweza kutoka kwenye moto ule basi na jeraha lolote.
Yule ambaye tabia yake imekuwa mzuri, Mtume sallallahu alayhi wasallam anasema mimi namdhaminia, nachukua dhamana yake mbele ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah aweze kumjengea nyumba mtu kama huyu katika pepo ya juu.
Back. All right, now, so here we have so many things here. First of all, as a member of the press, we've always seen that when it comes to protest, we're also allowed to have our safety gears. Sam will talk about that. But then on the other side, Anton is going to take me through or take us through some of the safety measures that we need to take when it comes to such kind of scenarios. But first of all, Anton, just explain to us in one word as you mention them, then we proceed. Sami.
Thank you. So first and foremost, as firearm holders, this is a dummy firearm for me to be able to express to you and show you exactly what it means. That's a firearm. We have the 4 safety rules that talk about firearms. One of the most important safety rules is that all firearms must be treated as loaded at all times. Loaded means that it is a firearm that is ready to take action and to expend the bullet that it has inside. Even if you yourself, you've unloaded the firearm and you're sure that it has been unloaded, at all times you must always treat them as if it is loaded. So we avoid a scenario of what is known as accidental discharge. We refer to it as a negligent discharge because at all times you must always make sure that you follow the 4 rules. The first important rule is that treat this firearm as if it is loaded at all times.
And that one also applies even to the security officers.
It is a firearm. It is a firearm.
Yes.
As long as it's a firearm, it must be treated as if it is loaded. At all times.
Okay.
So you cannot point this firearm at anything you don't intend to destroy. You cannot. Even this particular dummy that I have with me, I cannot point it at anything that I don't intend to destroy. I cannot point it to my feet. I cannot point it to my head, neither can I point it to my body, neither can I point it to my friend. I can't even warn you with it and tell you where. I cannot do that because I'm pointing at something I don't intend to destroy. So if I'm not pointing at something I don't intend to destroy, how then would I accidentally shoot it? Because I'm not meant to do that. The third rule, I'm not meant to put my finger on this trigger until I'm sure that that target that I'm pointing at, I want to destroy it. So don't put your finger on the trigger until you're sure of your target and you've made a conscious decision that you want to destroy that target. That's when you put your finger onto the trigger. Then you must know your target, what is in front of your target and what is beyond your target, so that you don't accidentally again.
Now that brings us to the aspect of stray bullet.
Yes.
All right. We've had, even in the recent protest, somebody was at the balcony somewhere in the house or whatever it is. You talked about somebody at your target and something at the background.
Yes.
So that is a stray bullet?
A stray bullet will happen when at times you assume that that is my safe direction.
Yes.
And we always say in the firearm rules that you must always identify 2 directions, 2 safe directions. First is my primary safe direction, and the second alternative safe direction. So that in case my primary safe direction is compromised, then I will automatically, my mind will remember that was my alternative, and I will immediately switch to my alternative. So you would find that this particular firearm, I might be thinking that that is a clear direction. Why? Because I want to scare somebody. So I shoot in the air, but when I'm shooting it at 45 degrees,
without analyzing what's there.
I'm not realizing that in 100 or 200 meters, or the same case of a rifle, 300 or 400 or 500 meters away, there is a building that is that high. So my 45 degrees is going that direction. Visually, I cannot see it. But I've chosen that, especially in city dwellings or in such kind of area, if I choose to shoot that direction, then that is not a safe direction. It reaches to a point as instructors, we normally advise that we cannot even shoot up in the air like this, assuming that up in the air is a safe direction. Because as the bullet travels up, it will also have equal force coming down. Remember, it will have nothing to disturb it on its exterior ballistics as it travels up.
Very quickly, what else do we have here? That was very good. For anybody who's watched that, including police officers, licensed firearm holders and all that, that is a good class. So what else do we have here?
So we have, apart from that, we have what I recommend heavily, that anybody who holds a firearm must always know that at one time you might either get shot or something similar. So we have got bulletproof vests. And this is what you see.
And this belongs to us.
This is for the media. We recommend that at all times the media should have this, because the media is normally between one position and another position. So you're actually within the exterior ballistics path, and you'll find that one way or the other, that line can come to you. So it has a front vest that you put a plate inside.
And the plate is here?
Yes, that is a plate. This plate comes in the front here. It's fixed inside. There's one on the front and there's one on the rear. Then this is all ballistic material that prevents even a blade from going through your groin, because the areas that he was talking about that you'll bleed profusely out of in case you're hit.
Very good.
The slowest moving parts of
Let's
your
go
body.
to the next one.
Then in our protection, we normally use ear protections when we're at the shooting range. This we have to make sure that at all times you must have your ear protection on. Without this, will not allow you to be in the shooting range.
We've got ballistic eyes, we call them glasses, that we use in the range. These are all ballistic because you can have ricochet coming in. It stops the bullet. It can crack it, but even the small spills that come out, they don't damage your. Very good. They don't damage your eyes. We have got the helmet. This is what you have to put in your head. You might find some of the stray bullets coming in or something else happening. That is going to help you. Atamawe itakusaidia. That we recommend. Yes. Now, within our lines, we also have this. This is one kit that most of our members do have with them.
This is called bleeding control.
This is a bleeding control kit. Right. Yes. That's a bleeding control kit, and it has a clear guidelines. You really don't have to be very educated for you to know how to use this. It's got the hemostatic gauges, his gauges is going to display about them all, and then it has instructions and even a card inside. Yeah. This is available locally in some of our markets. If you go to MedSurg, which is just opposite museum.
So basically somebody can buy this.
You will buy this.
And stay with it at home. Yes. Just in case of any emergency.
Yes. This is one for bleeding, and this one is for burns.
I see.
Yes, when you have these two, you're home safe. You'll
probably Anthony will help us to describe more of that.
Then now we have what is known as less lethal. Now, less lethal can start from bullets. There are bullets that you can have inside your firearm which are less lethal. More or less people know them basically just like rubber bullets. Yeah. But there are many other different types of bullets that can be used. And equally, you can have what is known as pepper spray or mace. This is very good. It looks like a keychain, everything else, but if I spray it right now, it is slightly different from the tear gas. And this whole room, I don't think there's anybody who's going to be able to stay.
I have to clarify, nobody has a pepper spray.
To stay inside.
Okay,
yeah,
very
so
well
are some of the things that we normally
Thank you. Now, so Sam, we are on this end.
Yes.
And now we leave it to Anthony. Anthony, we are in a situation somewhere now. He's given us the bleeding, stopping the bleeding kit and all that for the burns. Yes. So take us through, for example, let's start with inhalation of toxic gases. Yes. First of all, classic example of the tear gas. Yes. Someone has a pneumonia, asthma, or whatever it is. What are some of the first aids that somebody can tackle once there's a scenario such as that?
Okay, we usually say that the best way to be able to handle it, we have what we call the primary survey, whereby we have Dr. ABC. Simply, Dr. ABC is D for danger, R for response. You hear if this casualty can be able to respond, and then now we check our ABC. Danger, you check for anything that can be harm to you, okay? Harm to you yourself as the first aider, harm to the bystander, harm to the casualty. So usually say that remove the casualty from danger or danger to the casualty. If it is the tear gas, definitely you'll have to leave from that area, okay? People who have medical conditions like asthma, we have...
Can tear gas be lethal when inhaled too much?
It depends with the medical condition of the casualty. Okay. If they're having something like asthma, yes, it can become a problem, okay? So it means that this person needs to get medical assistance. It usually affects the mucosa lining, okay, within the soft muscle, that is the airway lining, okay? So this casualty may feel irritation, okay, and burning sensation, okay? But for most times it will be able to clear, okay? When you inhale, it will be able to clear. But someone who's having asthma, it may become a problem to them, okay? Also, tear gas may also affect your mucal lining, okay, within the eyes. So that is why the person feels teary. The best first aid is simply to be able to flush the eye out with a lot of water, okay? Just flush the eye out with a lot of water and move away from that side.
What about using of toothpaste?
Toothpaste,
we've seen how people
using it, yes. That one, when you're talking about first aid, we usually say that we use generally accepted principles of treatment. So for the use of toothpaste, that one we cannot really place because it has now to be tested and then now confirmed, then now we can be able to adapt it.
Next one.
Yes.
You have a cut. From whichever part, I think you have a dummy here. Just explain to us. Sammy has discharged his shot and somebody is bleeding somewhere because of a gunshot. Yes. First of all, how do you respond to that?
Okay.
That's after I've already given that person my quick first aid. Then I've transferred the person to him.
To us, okay?
Let's start from a shot has been fired. Yes, so what is the first instance of first aid?
Okay, so
Yes.
now for this person, we have to check if they're responsive, if they are conscious or unconscious. Okay.
Go ahead.
So when we come to them, we will be doing something that we call physical survey. Okay, a top-to-toe physical survey. So we'll just check and ask, hello, can you hear me? Open your eyes. Then I check the breathing. I confirm if this person is breathing. If they're breathing, then now we can do a physical examination. This person has a projectile. Okay, penetrating chest wound. We can be able to see that the clothing could be having blood. So if they have blood, then we'll be able now to open up the clothing and then do a quick assessment. From this dummy here, we can be able to see that we've put an indication here showing that this person has a penetrating trauma. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for such, okay, if this person has a penetrating trauma, it has gotten into the lungs, there is a problem whereby it may have pierced through the lungs. Okay. This person is bleeding. Blood will also come into the pleural space, the space between the lungs and the chest cavity.
Yes.
So if blood fills up this air, it means that if blood fills up within the lungs, it means that this lung is not going to expand as it ought to. There's a likelihood of failing. The other problem that would be there is that when this person is breathing in, air also escapes into the pleural space, and there's a possibility of also air getting inside the lungs. Okay, so what we usually have is this one is a commercial chest seal. Okay, mostly you'll find that the military have it and the police have it in their tactical first aid kit. Okay. The chest seal looks something like this, okay? But alternative, if you are outside, you do not have it, we usually say that you can use a polythene bag, okay? So the polythene bag, what we will do, okay? We will place it on the casualty's chest, okay? And then we seal it on 3 sides, okay? The moment we seal it on 3 sides, when this person breathes in, it will be sucked in and prevents air from the atmosphere getting into the lungs.
Yes.
And when he relaxes, the polythene bag is going to relax, and then air can be able to escape. The problem that is happening within the casualty, they may get what we call a tension pneumothorax. Tension pneumothorax leads to the collapsing of the lungs. If these lungs collapse, then there is a likelihood also that the other lung would collapse. Okay. For the commercial chest seal, this is what we will do.
But in a situation where it's just in open public. So what happens if you don't have these ones?
Within the open public, definitely you can get a polythene bag or a kitchen film. Yes, even a kitchen film, the one that people usually use for covering fruits, you can use it. Okay. So the commercial chest seal looks like this. It has a valve whereby it can be able to allow air to escape and then prevents air coming into the lungs. So this is what you will do. You will simply take hold of the commercial chest seal and place it like that. I've had to adjust the casualty so that the public can be able to see. Then afterwards, now I seal it up like this. Then now I'll be monitoring how the casualty is breathing. If they develop difficulty in breathing, then it means that there is air within the pleural cavity. Okay. For the paramedics, they can be able to do what we call needle decompression, so that now we're able to release the lung within, to release air within the lung. Now, if there is a penetrating injury to the skull, the problem is just like the problem that we said is that the bullet, the moment it gets in, it usually expands insides. Okay, so meaning that also the brain can be able to swell. We may be able to notice that this casualty can bleed from the ears, they can bleed from the nose. We will not stop that bleeding. We will let the bleeding still continue to come out. The body can be able to generate what we call the CSF, the cerebrospinal fluid is the one that will be leaking. But now this casualty needs to get to a medical facility. What you can do is just to be able to dress lightly, then now monitor the casualty's vitals. If this casualty stops breathing, then it will take us now to the next level, whereby now we'll have to do chest compressions. Chest compressions, basically, your hands will be in between the nipples. the nipples of the casualty. You place your hand at the center like that, interlock your hands, and then now you're able now to do the compressions, okay?
Nice.
So as you're doing the compressions, manual compressions, we are forcing blood to be able now to go out and circulate within the body. Please come and attempt to do CPR. Just come over.
Okay,
yes. Just come and give it a try.
This is not my area. Okay, so you said, first of all?
Yes, just kneel beside the casualty, your hands at the center of the chest.
Left or right?
Either the one that you're comfortable.
Right.
Okay, and then now the other knee down.
Like that?
Yes, and then be on top of the casualty. Just be on top, top, and then elbows straight. Lock them. Elbows straight, lock them, and then now let's compress. Let's go.
Sam, are you okay?
Yeah.
Yes, continue.
Fine, I can respond.
Yes,
Sam,
you're doing great. Do not stop. Make it continuous. Make it continuous. At least you do 100 to 120 chest compressions if you're doing hands-on only compressions. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, you're doing great. You can stop there. Okay. Now, this casualty is having the penetrating trauma. As you're doing the compressions, there's a likelihood also that this casualty may have blood coming out from the mouth.
All right.
So you may be forced to do hands-on only CPR, but also we can be doing rescue breathing in the event this casualty is not having also bleeding from the mouth. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Now we hand over the casualty to a medical facility.
Call Dr. Victor.
Yes. Now the other thing that also we may need to do for this casualty, especially we've mentioned that there may be shot to their limbs.
Yes.
We have this device that we call a tourniquet.
Sam, you're aware about that?
Yeah, we normally have it in our trauma bag.
Yes. Yeah. So this is a commercial tourniquet. It is supposed to help to control the bleeding.
Yeah,
I gave the case scenario of the police officer whose limbs got amputated. Okay. So what we will do? Okay. The commercial chest seal looks like this. Maybe the camera can zoom closer. So that is how it looks like. Okay. Yeah. So we are able now to put this into the casualty's hand, and then now we will be able now to secure it.
Experiment with this one.
Yes, we'll use a hand.
Assume I'm short where?
So we will use here, okay? So now, I will put the tourniquet like that, okay? Then what I'll be interested is the pulse. We have the pressure points where the heart beats. On the hand here, we call it the radial. We have also on the neck that we call the carotid pulse. So this one, I will come and secure it tightly, okay? Then we have this peg over here that now I will be using it now to be able to fasten. And I will continue now to make it move round, and then it begins to squeeze up. I continue to do this until I feel the heartbeat has ceased on the other side of the hand. So here, I'll be sure that blood has stopped coming out, okay? So you'll tell me where to stop. I continue.
Victor, just for the best demonstration, I think, Anthony, for the best demonstration, whenever you apply a tourniquet, the most important thing is to make sure that if you're shot in this particular area, is to push the tourniquet to the highest position of the limb as possible.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Just push it as high as possible, so that even if you're shot here, place it as high as possible, so that in case it doesn't stop, you don't remove this, you can place a secondary one. Slightly lower, but the best thing is to try and push it as high as possible.
But if you place the tourniquet higher, we may lose the whole limb. So we do not want the casualty to be able to lose the whole limb. So if it is, if it is amputated here, we can secure here. Okay. So if the bleeding now continues, then we can now add the secondary tourniquet. So I squeeze it up, okay, until now. Once it is tight enough, I can be able now to lock it up within this peg. Then now from here, I can be able now to secure this up, to strap this up. It's supposed to have somewhere now we can be able now to close it up, okay? So this is basically how we do it. Now, this one is the commercial one. You do not have this commercial one. So you can
another example is just random on the streets.
Yes.
What should be the quickest scenario to stop the bleeding? If you're, if you have a cut, you have a gunshot somewhere, what do you have to do to stop the bleeding?
To stop
That's
the bleeding.
First thing, right.
So the first thing is for this person, you tell them to apply pressure.
Yes.
Okay. So once they have applied pressure, this one I wanted to use it as a secondary, as an improvised tourniquet. Let me get dressing.
And what about somebody says that you just tear your shirt, a vest?
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
All right.
So now, this one is a dressing that we can be able to use on someone who's bleeding. So this is how we will use it, okay? So you get a hold of the dressing, but of course you have to have your gloves on, okay? Then you place it there, and then afterwards you simply just unroll the dressing.
Okay, so this part goes to the wound.
Yes, it goes to the wound. So you unroll it, and then afterwards now you can be able to secure it, okay? The bleeding may be severe, especially now with whatever has been happening of late. Probably this person now is having severe bleeding. We've given the example of using a tourniquet, especially if the casualty's hand is amputated, okay? You do not have, then afterwards now we secure it in place. You do not have that commercial tourniquet, then we can use an improvised tourniquet. You get a dressing, bandage like this, okay? Then afterwards you secure, you come and
most of these things are available. We have handkerchiefs with us.
Yes.
Ladies have bandanas.
Even your shirts. Yes.
Exactly.
So
you can even use your shirt.
You can use your shirt.
Okay.
So once I have secured this, I can use for a stick, a pen, okay? And then afterwards I come and secure it in place like that.
Right.
Please come and hold this for me. Hold it up for me. So here I'm using an improvised tourniquet. So once I do like that, then this one I will simply now squeeze it up, okay? I continue to tighten it up. So this would help to control the bleeding. Once it's secured, then now from there, I can weave it up. Yes, it is very tight. So here we are sure that the bleeding will have stopped.
Perfect.
So I secure it in place, and then now from there, we have secured and controlled the bleeding.
Okay. So I love this. I love this. So let's come back to it. Sami, the level of provocation that we usually witness, and even the composure, the mental preparedness to, and I want to talk to the police officers, the way they compose themselves, you know, during whatever that we've gone through as a country, we've seen how composed they are. What does that really take? In fact, I'm told that for you to be a police officer, you don't have to be physically fit. First of all, you have to be mentally fit.
I think mental strength is actually is much more important than physical fitness.
Right.
Physical fitness is contributes a lot also to mental health, but mental strength. But the mental strength that you see, where you have to control yourself to a level that you get all this provocation. It's not something that you just wake up in the morning and you do. Police officers are trained.
Yes.
And they're not simply just trained on how to handle firearms, but they're trained on even riots. They're trained on how to control and how to de-escalate with all these riots. And you see the calmness that you see is that he does not have to look agitated. He doesn't look like he's really annoyed about it. Because how do I put it? The best way I can say is the demeanor and how you look at somebody. If you see like I'm annoyed and I'm holding a rungu and I want to hit you, then the person also gets much more annoyed. But if you're so much annoyed and I'm calm, and all I can tell you, as you see most of the police officers always expressing by doing this. On one hand, he has a rungu. But on the other hand, you see the rungu doesn't come forward.
That's a dangerous person.
The rungu, no. But you see the rungu is always held back. And their left hand is always the one front. They don't hold the rungu like this, then they are telling you this. The rungu is always held back, and they're de-escalating. The more he keeps on de-escalating, and the more you keep on provoking them. Their provocation only comes when now there is threat to him. Or when now they are seeing that the more you're crowding and you're moving forward, the perimeter that they've put, you're going to break the perimeter. So they need to push you back.
So that's why actually we've seen most of the police officers retreating.
They retreat fast. They retreat fast because they really don't want to provoke you. But when you come closer and now you're pelting the stones and he's holding a shield, you're hitting his leg, and this is a stone. It's not a small stone. And you're hitting his leg and you're doing all that. What do? They lob the tear gases first to push you away further. And then when it becomes so intense, that's when they move to the rubber bullets. And they keep on pushing you back and pushing you back to disperse you as much as possible.
Let's come back home. All of us, we are in the comforts of our homes, and accidentally somebody gets a cut in the kitchen.
Yes.
Even Sami, you can get a cut in a normal operation. So the first one, in 1 minute if you can, how can somebody just work on that very fast? You have a bleeding in the hand, or you've just knocked your feet, or whatever it is, in any normal situation in the house.
Or even you're having a burn.
Yes.
We usually say that for burns, our aim is to be able to cool the burn. So the person probably they're holding a hot sufuria.
Yes.
What you'll simply do, run to a tap of water, open it up, let water flush the area.
Cold water?
20 minutes, yes, cold water. The normal tap water. When talking about cold water, someone may take the cold water from the dispenser. Cold water, ice water will cause also burns, okay? So you simply just open up the tap, let the water run there for 20 minutes, and then this casualty should get some relief.
What about somebody who's bleeding in the house?
The person who's bleeding, they will simply need to sit down, pinch the soft part of the nose, lean forward, open their mouth, and breathe through their mouth. They hold that for 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. That is if the bleeding has not stopped. For every 10 minutes, 10 minutes, then afterwards, now you can send the person, if the bleeding has not stopped, you can make them to seek medical attention. Probably the causes of the bleeding not stopping is this person may be having high blood pressure, or they may be having problems with the clotting mechanism, the hemophiliac. So it means the bleeding cannot stop. But after 10 minutes, the bleeding should stop, okay? For a normal cut, what we simply do, like whatever we've done with the dressing, you'll just take a dressing and then cover it up, okay? Do not make it so tight, because if it is so tight, it will cut off blood circulation. And if it is extremely tight, it means that if blood does not move to the other part, then this person's hands may get problems.
Okay.
Yes. So that is basically what you can be able to do.
Sami, how important is it even for the law enforcement officers who are actually licensed by the government to hold firearms to continue doing more trainings, even if you are in the military, actively so?
It is mandatory. It's actually in their SOPs. It's not something which it is optional. The continuous training is something which is mandatory, and it is very, very important. I think what has happened during the recent demonstrations has opened up many things that we understand now as what I would actually call like our underbelly. These are things that must be addressed, because you'll find that a police officer in a particular situation or a particular scenario, and his skills of arm-to-arm self-defense is a little bit low. He doesn't know that when you come approach me from this side, this is my best way of taking you down. These are things that they've been trained before, but maybe it has not been re-emphasized, that they have to keep on training and training and training and focusing.
For clarity,
on that,
even at Ngao, you also train
we definitely do
officers
that.
And
we train police officers. We've given them our facility. They know they're always welcome there. We train with them. Most of them, we do a lot of training with them. There are some of the officers who actually started us as Ngao. They have been our trainers. So we do welcome them a lot. And Victor, with that, I would say that also some other media stations have also taken it up, and they've also come up to train with us and to know how to de-escalate, how to be able to prevent you from going to a position where you've been attacked, and how do you prevent that?
Yes.
It is clearly you basic hands and what to do. A pen like that one, a simple string like from your shoelace can really, really save your life. So these are skills, life skills that need to be adopted. Continuous training for our police officers is something that must be done. This is something that we'd call a clarion call to the IG, Inspector General of the Police, to please ensure that part of training, it should be given the biggest budget, I think, in everything. Because if they have continuous training, some of the things that you're seeing happening in the country today would not even be happening in the way.
Can civilians join for training or something?
Yes, we train civilians there, because these are life skills. These are things that you must have. The people, we're all prone to attack. There's always somebody out there who was intending to do something bad. That is why we have law enforcement, to make sure that everyone stays within their lanes. So at National Gun Owners Association, if you come there, we work very closely with St. John's, with Red Cross, to make sure that we do bring on board some of these trainings, so that we make sure all that is well. Well, Victor, before I just finish, maybe Anthony, to just mention something. When you're dealing with a chest wound, and there is a chest cavity where there is a bullet or a projectile that has hit you, the most important thing also to check, has it gone through? Because you could be sealing the chest on the front, but then it is sucking from...
There's a gaping hole right behind you.
From the rear. So once you just confirm with what we normally do, at times we don't even agree with the doctors.
Yes.
Because at times they tell us, "But now what did you now do?" Because they're seeing the limb is going. But to us, our priority is to save the life. So when we're doing our sweeping, we sweep. I check my hands, I sweep, I'll notice on the rear, there is a hole also. So what do? I seal the hole in the back first before I come back to the forward, so that I make sure that doesn't happen. I just want to bring that out so that we send the right
Anthony, very quickly. Anybody can join St. John's Ambulance for training as a civilian, just for your own benefit.
Yes, we usually have volunteer members all the way from primary school secondary school, we call them the cadets. The primary, we call them the dolphins. Then we also have the adults and the links who are now outside. They're not in an institution, so they can come and join us. For the people that they simply just want to come and learn first aid and then now go continue the other businesses, they can still come. We usually have trainings from Monday all the way to Fridays, and we have different courses. We have first aid at work or the occupational first aid. It runs Monday to Friday. That's a full week. We charge 6,500 for it. We have emergency aid training for the people that probably now they're drivers, they do not have time. We'll be able now to give you the best first aid that you can be able to handle in the event of an emergency. A person is not breathing, how you handle them. That one is a one-day training. We have international lifesaver, which is 3 days. And also we do train nannies. We also train young mothers. We call that emergency. We call it lifesaver for babies and children. So anyone can be able to come and join. You want to become a volunteer? Yes, you can. We have doctors, we have nurses. So anyone who wants to join St. John, you can join us. But also if you want to be trained, you can come and be trained. Our emergency number is 0721 225 285. You have an emergency, you just call the number and then someone will be able now to assist you. I may repeat it again, 0721 225 285.
All right.
It is not hard to cram.
What about now?
Now Kenya, you just Google.
I know where Kirigiti is.
Google National Gun Owners Association. Right. You will find us in all platforms. Just National Gun Owners Association. You will find us in all platforms. And for licensed firearm holders, I would like to tell them that don't be a safekeeper. Don't get that firearm and put it inside your safe the day you need it. It's going to be harmful to you, harmful to the people around you, harmful to your children. So get it out there, bring it to the shooting range, learn how to use it best, and it will help you on the day that you really, really do need it.
Wow, what a way to end that. Today's been a good class. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Anthony Gillo, who is a trainer with St. John's Ambulance. Asante sana. I think this is completely different for me. Today we've not talked about politics. This is politics and we need to be safe. Sami Onyango, who is a master and an instructor with Ngao, thank you so much. He's also the chairman of Ngao National Gun Owners Association. Please guys, let's remember to always be safe. Do not provoke anyone. And based on what we've learned today, let's try as much as possible and be safe in our areas of jurisdiction. Mike, umelearn nini wewe baba? All right. Sawa. So Mike will tell us what is learned. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. GMK takes a break. I'm taking a break, but Mike will be up next with the next segment. Stay with us. I'm Victor. Good morning. Wow.
Wakenya wenzangu, this August, something big is happening. Chan 2024 is here and Harambee Stars are ready to shine. Let us come together and support our boys as they fight for glory. From the first whistle to the last goal, let us cheer loud and proud. Tune in to KBC Channel 1 and let's cheer our boys. Because when Harambee Stars win, Kenya wins. Twende kazi, Team Kenya, all the way.
Looking to advertise on KBC? KBC announcement services are now available on eCitizen. Visit kbc.ecitizen.go.ke and fill out the online application form. It's simple. 1. Complete the form. 2. Upload required documents. 3. Receive a quotation based on word count. And 4. Get notified via SMS when your announcement is ready. Please note, clearly indicate the type of announcement, service station, and all relevant details. 2. All applications must be made online only. Manual submissions will not be accepted. And 3. Announcements will air after news bulletins. For assistance, reach us on email ecitizen@kbc kbc.co.ke or use our social media handles Facebook, your Facebook account, and X at your X account. Or you can call us on 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124. KBC announcements. Simple, fast, and digital.
Friday night again. Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest, each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra niceness of reggae music,
extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
we have to do it twice.
Kila mwisho wa juma hapa katika runinga yako ya KBC Channel 1 tunakuletea Mkulima.
Mkulima ni kipindi cha kila mtu. Mkulima mdogo, mkubwa, mnunuzi, muuzaji na pia anayenuia kuanza kilimo.
Kuanzia kwa mbinu bora na za kisasa za kilimo, ufugaji,
kukupa fursa za biashara, kuongeza dhamana hadi teknolojia zinazorahisisha kilimo.
Mkulima kisasa inakupa wewe maarifa, motisha na suluhu za kukuza mazao,
kuongeza kipato na pia kulisha taifa kwa jumla.
Tunafidi nchi, tunafidi watoto wetu na tunafidi Europa na tunaweka pesa.
Tazama Mkulima kila Jumamosi saa 10:30
kwenye runinga ya taifa.
Mkulima, tuko hapa kwa ajili yako,
ambapo fursa na kilimo zinapatana.
My name is Salim Vuria, the Cabinet Secretary, Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, Republic of Kenya. Dear Kenyans, we are ready to host CHAN 2024 tournament. Let us show the world our patriotism, our passion for football and our warm hospitality. This is not just a tournament, it is a celebration of our nation's pride. Join us in Nairobi as we welcome the continent and the world to experience the thrill of CHAN 2024. It is our time to shine. Let us make CHAN 2024 a great success and rally behind our team, Harambee Stars. Hashtag Jaza Study.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mark Migu. Now we talk about matters to do with the land sector within the country. You know, land is a very emotive issue, and for a long time it has been facing different challenges. We are talking about matters to do with historical injustices, matters to do with inheritance, matters to do with ownership, and all these are engaged in legal tussles that sometimes take a long time to solve, which is why now we're looking at alternative dispute resolution mechanism, that is mediation and arbitration. Today we are looking at the role of mediation and arbitration in Kenya's land sector. And in this conversation, I'm joined by Eric Nyandimo, who is the President, Institute of Surveyors of Kenya. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Karibu tena.
Asante sana.
Umekuwa salama?
Yeah, niko salama.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, let's get right into it. Now, If you're looking at mediation and arbitration in matters to do with land, maybe to set a context, we start with the nature of land disputes within the country.
Okay.
Yes.
So we have a range of land disputes in the country, and these disputes could be on boundary, boundary conflicts, maybe due to encroachment from one landowner to the other.
Yes.
There could also be issues related to succession, where families are not able to agree on the division of the property in question. There could be disputed ownership, where somebody has settled on a piece of land and then somebody is claiming ownership to that particular piece of land. There could be disputes in terms of the value of the land. There could be disputes on the use of the land use conflicts, especially where you have maybe pastoralists and you have people who are doing cultivated agriculture. And then you also have issues about absentee landlords, like we see mostly in the coast, where you have a widespread issue in terms of absentee landlords. Yes.
Now, you've mentioned succession, and it is one of the things maybe that plague matters to do with land, especially when it comes to inheritance. How prevalent is this within the country?
I would say it's quite prevalent at the moment, because people are starting to understand the need to have ownership documents, that is title documents, so that they can be able to use it as collateral, maybe to improve their lives. So in that context, you find that families, even when they have settled over a long period on a piece of land, then start having conflicts with regard to the documents and whose name needs to be on that particular document. So it's quite widespread.
Yes.
And it's something that, of course, needs to be handled in a good manner to ensure that we can be able to reduce on the conflicts like we see mostly, say, like in the western part of the country, Western Kenya, where you have smaller parcel sizes and you have larger families. So, yeah, there's increasingly disputes on that.
Now, let's look at both mediation and arbitration. Maybe before you even continue, what is the difference between the two?
So, mediation and arbitration, the difference is that in the context of mediation, you have parties that are in conflict working through a professional and getting to a solution. They arrive at a solution themselves. In the case of arbitration, the parties that are in conflict present their cases or their versions of the dispute, and then you have a third party who then determines the solution. So it's more of like a court process, but a less formal process. But the third party is determining the issue. But in the case of mediation, the two parties work together and arrive at a solution. Yes.
Now, looking at the role now, what role have they played so far in cases where matters to do with land are involved?
Well, we see more of mediation in land disputes. Arbitration is more when you have contractual obligations. You have entered into a contract and one of the parties has gone against the contract, and you had it within your contract that when you have a dispute, then you would refer that matter to an arbitrator to be able to resolve the issue. So there's more of mediation in land disputes, and we are encouraging more of mediation in land disputes.
Yes. Where is ISK coming in all this now?
So within ISK, we have professionals who are involved on a day-to-day basis on land issues. That is from doing valuation to doing surveying to doing mapping to property management and so on and so forth. And since these professionals, the first people to be involved when there is a dispute, it is incumbent on us as an institution to be able to
train them and improve their capacities when it comes to issues related to mediation. So as an institution, we have gotten into a memorandum of understanding with the Mediation Training Institute, and we are continuously training our members, empowering them on matters mediation so that they can be able to offer that as a service to the members of the public, and to also be able to educate and increase their capacities in that area. Yes.
You know, mediation and arbitration have been recognized by the Community Lands Act of 2016. But then the question comes, do they point to an inadequacy within the litigation process, or this is just a way to augment the processes that are happening at the court level?
They are really meant to augment what is happening within the litigation circles. So it's not really to replace, or not to say that there's a challenge or there's a difficulty with the litigation aspects. But even the courts have recognized the aspect of mediation. We now have what we call court annex mediation.
Yes.
So where an issue can be presented to a judge or a magistrate, and they can be able to order that the parties undertake mediation once the judge or the magistrate understands that maybe this is an issue that could be better solved through an aspect of mediation. So these are alternative dispute resolution mechanisms which can be reinforced to ensure that disputes do not take such a long time and do not cost quite huge amounts of money to be able to resolve. Because we have seen disputes that can run into tens of years.
Yes.
And frankly speaking, this doesn't give a very good picture.
Yeah.
And there is need to ensure that disputes can actually be brought to a logical conclusion.
Yes.
So if mediation, arbitration can be able to support, then we support those particular processes.
Yes.
Yes.
In your own perspective, when it comes to the litigations that happen with matters to do with land, what do you think is the reason that most of the time they take too long to resolve?
One of the challenges is, of course, because you see, with the litigation process, you're looking at evidence which is brought before the court of law. And the judicial officer, the judge, magistrate, we need to be able to look at and understand all these particular issues. And sometimes you find that getting that evidence takes some time to be able to collect. Maybe because of the way the land records are kept, if they are not in a digital system, it becomes difficult to be able to trace them. And sometimes you're looking at trying to go to the root of the title. So you're going maybe 30, 40 years back to try and understand how maybe the land parcel came into being and where the conflict could have actually arisen from. And then, of course, there's also the aspect that once the court has ruled, somebody has the right to be able to appeal the decision that has been made. And based on the number of cases that are presented in court, it can take time, because there's really no limit that has been put forth to ensure that the cases are determined in a faster manner. Although I know that through the Chief Justice, through the Environment Land Court, they are now working towards ensuring that the cases can be resolved in a much faster fashion.
So you think we may need a legal provision that gives a set timeline to deal with matters to do with land?
Especially on succession matters. Maybe other matters, the court processes can continue, but like we have seen succession matters that drag for even 40 years.
40 years?
Yes, and you have had different judges listening to such cases. And that is a lifetime.
Yeah.
And even keeping that kind of evidence and keeping track of what is happening through such a long period becomes a problem. We have seen in the issue of elections, when before, after having an election, a party would dispute a result and they would go to court, and the court would maybe take 5 years to be able to determine the case, the time by which the length of that parliament has already ended. So you even have a difficulty in enforcing that decision because the parliament is not, the parliament where that person wanted to be in is no longer in place.
Yeah.
So if we can work together with the various stakeholders and have a defined time period for these succession matters, maybe not more than 5 years, to ensure that all the arguments are brought to a logical conclusion and a decision is actually made, because a lot of resources are being spent on some of these cases.
Yes. Now, you know, in terms of effectiveness of dealing with these matters, are the ADRs working? How effective are they?
I would say they're effective, especially when you look at the aspect of mediation, because where you have parties that are in conflict and they are able to arrive at a solution through the help of professionals, they're able to amicably agree on a solution, then that agreement, once the two parties have determined and there's no more dispute, then they can continue living as they were living before, or the whatever agreement they have come up to can then be enforced. Of course, there have been arguments in terms of how do you enforce agreements through mediation. So do we then enter that into a court of law, or? But of course, we also see that we have the aspect of the court annex mediation, where once the parties have agreed, then that agreement can then be recorded into a court of law and can be part of the judgment that would be passed by the judge or the magistrate. So I would say that the alternative dispute resolutions are working, and that is why they're getting embraced. And we have seen the judiciary has come up with the court annexed mediation rules from the year 2022. And we are seeing various professionals within the landed sector, the surveyors, the valuers, the planners, the architects, etc., taking ownership of this mediation process. Yes.
How does it work? How does the court annexed mediation work for a person who is hearing this for the first time?
So let's say a scenario where you have two parties and they're in dispute and they come before the court of law, and their cases are presented, of course, through their various advocates. And the judge, in his or her wisdom, can be able to make a direction that this is a matter that can be best resolved through the aspect of mediation. Yes.
Now, granted, the ADRs of mediation and arbitration, especially when it comes to land, how easy are they to initiate, and what could be the biggest challenges that may hinder the effectiveness of these ADRs?
I think one of the challenges maybe with the mediation is that you need somebody who is trained, so you technically need a professional.
Yes.
And in some cases we find that the professionals are more maybe in the urban areas or in the rural areas. There's also some cost element that is involved, because if a professional is putting time into the mediation efforts, then at the end of the day they need to be paid. And then if they're not in the rural areas and we have an issue in the rural areas, of course there's also the aspect of the travel time. And then there have also been those arguments in terms of how do you enforce those issues that are coming in from the mediation. But we live on the context that if this is a solution that has been arrived at by two parties that are in dispute, then the dispute would be sorted out by them coming to an agreement. Yes.
Now, you said you're involved in matters to do with mediation and arbitration as ISK, but then again, do you work with the National Land Commission in matters? How has that been?
We work very closely with the National Land Commission, because many of the people also who are working within the National Land Commission are our members. So they're either surveyors, they're valuers, land administrators. So they're part and parcel of the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya. And ISK was in the forefront when the Constitution was being discussed, to ensure that we have in place the National Land Commission. So we are a friend and a supporter to the National Land Commission, and we work with them very closely.
Yes.
And I think they have played a big role, especially when it comes to public land management on issues related to land allocation and so on and so forth. It's now a lot more organized. The process is fairly done in a lot more fair manner. Of course, working through the county governments or the national government, because those have to be supported by the National Land Commission. Yes.
Now, in the context of mediation, you know, there's the case of local elders and community leaders. What role do they play in all this?
In terms of if there's a dispute within that context, they would be useful because they can help the parties that are in dispute to arrive at a decision.
Yes.
Yes, by either looking at the history or giving relevant context to that particular matter. So if they're called in to be able to help the parties arrive at a decision, then that becomes a crucial thing. Of course, we need to do more in terms of educating them and building their capacity so that they can be able to support these efforts on alternative dispute resolution. Yes.
Now, you know, in matters to do with the mediation, neutrality and fairness is paramount. So, are there safeguards that are there to ensure that these two aspects are well applied when it comes to mediation? Yes.
I would say that the aspect of neutrality would be more crucial when it comes to matters of arbitration, because the person who is doing the arbitration would need to make a decision. In the case of mediation, the third party who is a mediator, their role is to help the parties arrive at a solution. The role of the mediator is not to make the decision. It is for the two parties or the three or the four parties to come to an agreement. And of course, in that aspect, in his or her dealings, they must try to be fair and to help out with the context to enable these parties to make a decision. Yes.
In matters of arbitration and mediation, arbitration, which is more legally binding? Is it arbitration or mediation, or both can be?
I think it depends on the context, but you find that in arbitration you already have a contract which specifies that if there's a dispute, then the first place that you need to go for is arbitration. So in that case, then it would be legally binding because you have put it down in a contract and you have actually signed. In the case of mediation, where you have the court annex mediation, of course, you can be able to enforce that kind of an agreement. But where you have a situation where there's no formal court process, then it's something that needs to be debated and a decision taken. Yes.
In terms of capacity, it matters to do with, especially when it comes to arbitration, do we have enough people who can undertake such cases if they arise and when parties decide this is going to be an out-of-court settlement? Yes.
I think we have a good number. Most of the people within the legal fraternity are also trained in arbitration, and they get to register as arbitrators, and they can be able to do that, of course, including other professionals. So I don't think we have gaps or capacity issues when it comes to issues of arbitration. It's more once you have trained and you get on board, you can be able to undertake that particular process.
Anyone can train as an arbitrator?
Not necessarily, but we tend to see more of, say, the legal fraternity on the context of arbitration, because of certain contexts. But you also have depending on the kind of dispute that you can have, you could be an accountant and so on and so forth on those issues for arbitration. Yeah.
And what kind of land disputes would call for arbitration more rather than mediation?
Yeah, so in the context of where you have entered into a lease, where, for example, you are renting property for a number of years, and you've indicated within the contract that if there's an issue, then you resort to arbitration.
Yes.
So at least there needs to be some form of contract, and the parties should have signed on that. So you'd look at issues in terms of property management. Aspects.
Yes. All right, let's take a very short break. We continue with this conversation after this short break. Stay with us.
My name is Salim Mvuria, the Cabinet Secretary, Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports. And I want to tell all Kenyans, Chan is here with us. I want to invite you to Kasarani so you can rally our Harambee Stars team. The tickets are affordable, 200, 500, 1,000. Harambee Stars is playing, Kenya is playing. Let's meet at Kasarani. Tuko pamoja.
Kwanza saizi ndio unampa motisha ya kupigana na wewe kabisa.
I've met a lot of men like Mark who just bark and can never bite.
Said leave. I want to be alone.
You tumia chakula. Kufanya nini? Sikuelewi. Na si umesema dad ni kama amerogwa na kama you tumia chakula.
Would you like somebody who killed your own mother? Fiona, who told you that?
Kama uko tayari, wakati utakuwa tayari, utanitafuta na mimi nitakupa majibu ya kila swali unalo.
Liwa mtoto wetu Joyce ndio wachwe hii nyumba. Wewe angalia uone.
Ulikuwa nikimwangusha.
Uchunguzi ulifanyika na ukaonekana ni wewe ulimwangusha.
Awatu si wajinga, tunajua you people mnajifanyaga nyinyi askari na nyinyi si askari.
Si alijitambulisha?
Pingo na mdomo tu. Asipokuwa na uniform siwezi mtambua.
Akiwa bila uniform si polisi.
Kutoa pingo ni kujitambulisha.
Hakuwa amebeba, lakini wewe ni wa hiyo area. Wewe anajua hiyo mtu ni constable.
Am I a civilian?
Yes you are.
I'm a civilian.
Yes you are.
Am I pedestrian?
And Lamin Camara with his first career goal.
Ni muda wa kuhesabu kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani uzuri, David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
Welcome back. We're looking at the role of mediation and arbitration in Kenya's land sector. Eric Nyandimo is the president of Institute of Surveyors of Kenya. And as we continue with this conversation, how can we ensure that people get more information when it comes to these matters, and how prevalent, especially when is the knowledge of alternative dispute resolution when it comes to land matters?
We still need to do a lot of education and campaigns so that we can be able to inform the population that there are alternative dispute resolution mechanisms. Of course, the first point of contact for most disputes would be to take the issues to court. And it's also good that the courts have also now adopted the mediation aspect. So there are certain issues that they can be able to refer to mediation, so as to reduce also the number of cases that need to be determined. So the aspect of awareness creation, aspect of education, aspect of campaigns in the media, through barazas and so on and so forth would help quite a bit. There's also the aspect of training and capacity building for relevant professionals, especially those in the landed profession, from the university where they need to be trained, to include matters of alternative dispute resolution as part of the curricula, so that by the time they come out, they're already aware that those are some of the opportunities that exist for them to use to resolve problems. Because typically when there is an issue on land, a surveyor will be approached, a valuer will be approached, a lawyer would be approached, and it would be important if they can be able to educate those who are approaching them that if there's a dispute, this is how we need to be able to go through this dispute so that we can resolve it.
Yes. As an Institute of Surveyors of Kenya, have you also tried to engage the private sector in matters to do with ADRs?
There's a lot of discussion on ADR through a number of initiatives like the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, KEPSA, and also through the Association of Professional Societies of East Africa. And as ISK, we are involved in both organizations or institutions. So I would say that we have been in the forefront, really, talking about matters, alternative dispute resolution. Yes.
You know, when it comes to land matters, it's not only about private land ownership, but also there's the aspect of community land. So how do we ensure that marginalized entities like women, the youth, are involved or are assisted to get a fair alternative dispute resolution process that involves mediation and arbitration in matters land?
The community land issues are quite relevant at the moment because with the enactment of the Community Land Act, the aspect of how you register the communities is coming a lot into play. And whereas there have been some successes in a number of areas, there's still need for effort to be done on these aspects. And we have a lot of non-governmental organizations that are involved on community issues, community interests, that are taking up campaigns on such issues involving the women and the youth. As a matter of fact, the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya is engaging with other stakeholders on a campaign which we call a Stand for Her Land campaign, which would be looking at empowering women rights and enhancing women access to land. We are still working out on the finer details, and we should be able to discuss that in good time once all the details are in place, to see that such issues can be brought forth. As an institution, we are primarily involved in undertaking land clinics, where we send professionals to different parts of the country.
Yeah.
And they serve to talk about some of the issues that you've asked.
Yes.
In terms of bringing forth the youth, bringing forth the women, and talking about the community interests.
Yes.
Yes.
How effective have they been, these land clinics?
They are, in one way or another. Maybe they are an aspect of time, and because I've been involved in a number, and you have a lot of questions coming in from the members of the public. So it tells you that there are a lot of people who have a lot of issues and a lot of challenges when it comes to disputes.
Yes.
And maybe because of funding gaps,
yeah,
you're not able to spend as much time as you'd want to spend with them.
Yes.
But it is something that can be supported, and we are trying to see whether we can work closely with the county governments to support these processes, so that we can deploy our professionals in an area that they can be there for maybe even up to a week, rather than just spending one day.
Yeah.
They can be there for even a week to discuss on those issues, and to see how we can help the communities get to a solution. Yes.
From these land clinics that have happened, what are the most pressing issues that are relating to land that you can point out that they are interlinking issues amongst the people?
A big issue is on succession, inheritance, and in certain cases you have disputes that where you have somebody saying that I've been living on this piece of land, and then recently somebody has come up and is saying that this land belongs to them and that I need to vacate, and all my life I've been living here. There are also issues in terms of maybe the way the plots were subdivided. Somebody was told that this is maybe 1.5 acres when it is really maybe 1.25 of an acre, and so on and so forth. So, or somebody has put in the boundary, planted the boundary, and the other person has removed the boundary. Yeah, so these are the kind of issues that keep coming up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, looking into the future of mediation and arbitration in the country, what do you think needs to be done to strengthen these alternative tools for solving land disputes?
One is on looking at the policy and the legal framework. Already, as we have said, the judiciary has been on the forefront to embrace mediation, because they see its relevance and the fact that it can actually help them to mitigate on the cases that are brought before them. But we also have the aspect of the national land policy, where we need to really ingrain the aspect of mediation as one of the ways of resolving the disputes. At the moment, we are in the process of reviewing the land policy. It has taken a lot of time, because the last policy was running from 2009 to 2019. And since 2019 up to now, about 6 years, we are yet to finalize on the land policy, but we are hoping that this is one of the areas that needs to be brought out to be streamlined. So looking at the policy, looking at the legal framework, looking at the institutional capacity, and essentially enhancing the roles of the land management boards. We have the land control boards, which are spread across the country, and whose capacities need to be enhanced, and so that they can be able to understand that these alternative dispute resolution mechanisms are some of the areas that they can use to resolve some of the conflicts that keep on arising with the cases that they deal with. Yeah.
Now, we are living in the age of technological advancement and in what is called the digital age. So how can these digital platforms help in enhancing, say, the effectiveness of mediation when it comes to land disputes?
I would say one it may not be directly related, but there's one area, like we're talking about, there's a technology called remote sensing, where we take images of the Earth using satellites. And these satellites have been taking images, say, from 1972 up to now. And the resolutions of these satellite images has been increasing. I believe many of us are familiar with, say, Google Earth platforms,
yes,
which is making use of archived satellite imagery.
Yes.
And this remote sensing technology has proved to be a very effective tool when it comes to looking at issues of adverse possession, especially where you say, where somebody, a group of people invade a piece of land, and then they start saying that they have been living in that piece of land for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And if we use this technology, we are able to look through and see that piece of land over the years and can tell you with certainty the point when the people started living in that land. And we can then be able to help in mitigating cases of adverse possession, whether they have really been living there or it's something that they moved in the last 2 or 3 years, and therefore their claim for adverse possession then is invalidated by the fact that they have actually not been living there.
Yes.
Yeah. And people are very crafty when it comes to issues related to adverse possession, including using old mabatis and things like that.
Yes.
Getting old people to move into the site to look like they have been living there for quite some time.
Yes.
So technology can really be able to unearth such kind of issues.
Okay.
Yes.
Your final word.
Yes. Just to indicate that as an institution, we are going strong and big on this issue of mediation.
Yes.
We are organizing a training for our members in the month of August, and we are hoping to increase the numbers of our members who are trained as mediators and who can be able to offer this as a service to the members of the public. We have also planned an activity, the ISK Property Expo, which we are scheduled to hold on the 13th to the 14th of September at the KICC, where we will have developers and real estate practitioners coming on board to showcase some of the things that they have to the members of the public.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming to talk about these matters, especially when we are talking about alternative dispute resolution in matters to do with land. That is Eric Nyandimo, who is the president of the Institute of Surveyors of Kenya, joining us here on Good Morning Kenya to talk about that. This is where we end this conversation and the entire Good Morning Kenya. Thank you for tuning in, and on behalf of my colleagues, that is Vivian and Victor, enjoy the rest of your viewing. My name is Mike Megwe.
I'm Herman Mori Bigham. I'm an MZ. I'm an African from the U.S. And I've been in Kenya for 10 years. And my newest project in creation is called Glass Lighting. It is actually a part of a larger body of work and creations and products that we do. My company is called Tosheka Products. And all of the work that we do, or I should say much of the work that we do and invent in terms of products, have to do with utilizing the local resources, local talent, and producing products that will enhance the value and lives of people, whether it's nutrition, and or in this case, It's a project that deals with the existence of abundance of glass that is trash and that is everywhere, and that is beyond a nuisance and an environmental problem. It's a problem that not only because of its existence in the environment, but anytime you take something and you produce a product and then don't reuse it in some manner, you are definitely one, you've used resources and you've not reused them to their full benefit, okay? And so by recycling the glass, we're doing that, producing really elegant, I should say, products, and then we're having a major impact in terms of design ideas, industry, creating a new industry, and employment.
Okay, so how we making out today? We're doing better, right?
Then you have to have the appreciation for what the end products are and how they impact people's lives and the environment, and that's what inspired me, because I saw just the most, beautiful, awesome designs of made for waste glass. It took one, you have to have the appreciation for what the end products are and how they impact people's lives and the environment, and that's what inspired me, because I saw just the most, beautiful, awesome designs of made for waste glass, particularly online, and then from there put together the business plan, the website, the marketing plan. From there, I found a facility, small workshop, and we had to renovate the workshop and then build it out with shelves and equipment. We had to actually make the equipment. And of course, I didn't mention, I knew nothing about cutting glass. So I did what I'm very good at, which is research. So I did a lot of research on various means and methods, and then took the equipment that I had and converted it to be able to cut glass effectively. And it's worked out very well between the research and then I took on a young man who was collecting glass bottles. That was his job in Melolongo. I took him on and we worked together, and I trained him, and he added greatly to the both design and execution of the cutting of the glass. He came up with several of his own creations, several of his own ideas in terms of methodology, and it's amazing. Here's a young man who went from collecting glass, on the street to now having a profession. Sales. I have two good people now, two young ladies, in fact, and they're sharp. And their background wasn't really sales, and I gave them an opportunity, even though they didn't have the experience, but they interviewed in a manner that you can really tell that they, would perform. We recently met with Sandranda, the supermarket, and Nivis. They both were very impressed with our products, and they're reviewing it to become a part of their line. The two young ladies are basically they go daily to restaurants, hotels, malls. That's what we need. Those are the things that are most valuable to me, that people really understand about why this work is significant. That is because we are using local talent, we're using local ingenuity, we're saving the environment, we're creating industry, and this was conceived and operated through and only because of my vision and understanding of the value of culture.
Wakenya wenzangu, this August, something big is happening. Chan 2024 is here and Harambee Stars are ready to shine. Let us come together and support our boys as they fight for glory. Tune in to KBC Channel 1 and let's cheer our boys. Because when Harambee Stars win, Kenya wins. Twende kazi, Team Kenya all the way.